to a point though where, I mean, it really starts to have significant impact on government services? I mean, is it after 2 weeks, after a month? Is that when people
I think
really start noticing?
I think it will have an immediate effect. That's why we need to stay here and work. I think it would be unseemly, unconscionable, quite frankly, for those of us who are charged to provide leadership for this state, both the executive as well as the legislative branch, or to choose not to stay focused on this on a continuous basis until it is resolved.
Governor, has your staff drafted a legal opinion regarding the VLTs, and have you asked Attorney General Cordray to also address the legal issues of the VLTs?
Well, certainly my legal staff has looked at it, and they feel that it can be done, and that although we are likely to have a legal challenge, because there have already been those who indicated that they will do that we are on firm legal ground as long as we have legislative authorization.
Is that an advisory opinion that you could release to us, and have you asked Cordray for a similar opinion?
I have not asked for a written opinion. We've been engaged in direct verbal discussions. In terms of the involvement of the Attorney General, Kent, I don't believe that we may have had some informal discussions, but we have not asked for anything in writing.
Governor, the controversy over gambling seems to have overshadowed the education plan that you put forth. So I'm wondering, does that sort of indicate that maybe you guys have come up with some sort of compromise? And what is that compromise?
I want to be respectful of all those involved, and I will say this, that I believe, it is my belief, that all of the major issues that we have faced in this budget have been appropriately dealt with. That this is the last remaining obstacle, in my judgment, the last remaining obstacle to us getting a budget. That's why I say if this issue were permitted to be brought to the floor of the Senate for a vote, I think we could have the resolution of our budget concerns completed.
Are you okay with doing the evidence-based model on a per-pupil basis as Republicans have suggested?
I do not want to get into the specifics of what may or may not have been agreed to until such time as both sides feel comfortable with those details being released.
Without getting into specifics, can you say at this point, when this is over, will you be able to tell the public, I have reformed education as I said I would?
When this is over, I will talk with you about that with some level of satisfaction.
Now, Governor, do you believe that you worry at all that because you were the one who took the lead on suggesting the cuts, that, of course, a lot of the stories are that these are the cuts you called for, yes, and the public is very upset at some of them, so they say stop Governor Strickland's cuts.
Sure.
Do you worry that in the end, even though the legislators are going to give their approval to some package of cuts, that you're going to get stuck and they're going to be known for years to come as Strickland?
My brothers and sisters, you may not believe this, but that is the least of my worries at this point. There will be political campaigns in the future. Charges and countercharges will be made. My responsibility is to try to get this state with a budget that will enable us to move forward. Now, let me say this to you. Many of you have been around Capitol Square a lot longer than I have. I think what I did was unprecedented. I did it because some of you in the media and certainly Senator Harris asked me to do that. Things seem to be sort of in a stalemate, And I was asked by the senator on multiple occasions to give what he referred to as plug-in numbers. We needed plug-in numbers. And so I basically came forth with a framework, which was the introduction of a new budget. I did that at the request of Senator Harris and others. I have said that I own the VLT issue, right? Regardless of what happens, I own it. It will be a part of my legacy. I acknowledge that. I accept that. But come on, let's move this state forward. Let's get a budget agreement. And for my Senate colleagues to say they're not going to vote for this for whatever reason, when they already have voted for something that is, in my judgment, identical. It puzzles me. It's unfortunate. It would be so good, for us to do what we did 2 years ago, and that was to come to an agreement where everybody could sign off on a budget, and we can move forward. And that's what I hope happens. But I see. I mean, I don't want to be unfair in what I say here, but for these 7 senators to have voted for this as recently as 2007, when our economy was in so much better shape than it is now, and our budget was in better condition than it is now, and to refuse to do so now, it just makes it seem